Hey, it's Paul here, and we are starting a brand new YouTube series where I'm going to be taking this 15 by 20 foot garden space and seeing how much we can grow in that space over the course of an entire season. We're calling it the Great Garden Challenge, and it is going to be so much fun. So here are the rules, and here's how you can be involved as well. Number one is that I've got to fit all of my crops into this 15 by 20 foot space. Rule number one. Number two is these crops need to grow between March and October. So I've got about 8 months to get this done. And number three is that I've got to grow a variety of crops. I can't just pack it all full of tomatoes, which I don't think is the greatest idea anyways. So I'm going to be growing a variety of crops. We're even going to be planting a crop rotation through it and succession plantings through the whole season. It's going to be great. Now, I might fudge one of the rules just a little bit, and that is that I might transplant some crops that were seeded a little bit earlier than March, but we'll see. Now, here is where it gets really fun, and that is that we are giving every single one of you the opportunity to guess how much do you think we'll be able to grow from this garden. Put a dollar figure on it. We'll compare it with local grocery stores, and whoever gets the closest is going to win the ultimate garden giveaway. So you want to know what comes with the giveaway? Of course. Okay, so number one, the winner is going to win lifetime unlimited access to Seedtime, which is a super cool garden planner. Makes it very easy to know what to do, when to do it, and plan a continual harvest out of your garden all year long. Number two, the winner will also get a Birdie's Raised garden bed of their choice from the Seedtime store and $500 worth of free seeds from the Seedtime store as well. So the stakes are pretty high. And if for some reason we have a bunch of people that all guess the same number that's the closest, I'll tell you what, we'll give you all lifetime accounts to Seedtime, and we'll do one more drawing for the ultimate winner that gets the Birdie's Raised garden bed and the free seeds. How does that sound? So I'm going to drop a link in the description below where you can put in your guess of how much you think that we'll be able to grow over this season, and subscribe to this channel for the chance to win the ultimate garden giveaway. And here's the good news, because if you're anything like me who pretty much never wins anything anytime, we're going to be hosting a lot more opportunities to win really cool garden goodies and gadgets and stuff like that. In fact, I'll be telling you about one just a little bit later in this video. Now, while growing your own food and figuring out how much you can grow is going to be a lot of fun, we also have a real passion to help lift families out of extreme poverty into an abundant life. And so during this series, we are also hosting a fundraiser for an organization called Farm Stew, which has already helped trained and equipped over 20,000 families and lifted them out of extreme poverty. And one of the ways that they do that is by teaching them how to grow their own food, and then even how they can sell that food to the local community. Now, here's where it gets really fun, because anyone who donates $1,000 or more to the Farm Stew Fund is going to trigger a Garden Bonanza giveaway. So I've got a Seedtime hat here that has a bunch of papers with all kinds of garden fun stuff, from raised beds to Petra backpack or battery powered sprayers that you can use in your garden, to access to the Seedtime garden planner, and some other little secrets in here as well. So whenever a Garden Bonanza giveaway is triggered, we're gonna pull out the Seedtime hat, pick a random item from it, and do a random draw from the entry list to our main giveaway. So anyone who has entered and guessed how much we're gonna grow, you might have an opportunity to win a Bonanza giveaway as well. So I'm going to drop another link in the description below where you can check everything out and give towards the Farm Stew Fund. And now, enough of all this talking, let's start planning this garden. What do you say? So the very first thing that we've got to do, and here's actually where I need your help, is we've got to figure out where we're going to grow this garden. So here's what's happening. We used to live in a little tiny house up on this hill over here. We just recently moved to an apartment above our neighbor's shop, and this house location is going to turn into a construction zone. So it's not the best place to set up raised beds and plant a garden like this. So we have two options that are on the table. Number one is we could grow this in the hoop house that you see behind me here, and in just a second, I'll give you a little peek inside there. We can rope out some garden beds and plant and grow the entire garden in there. Or number two is that my dad has a location outside, outside his house where we could set this up and grow it outside. And we discussed back and forth, and at the end of the day, we want to give you the opportunity to decide where this garden is going to grow. So let's take a quick peek in the hoop house. We'll go over to my dad's place, and then we'll have you drop in the comments where you think that we should grow this garden. Okay, so what do you know? Perfect timing. My dad was just coming over here to uncover some of the crops. So hey everyone, here's my dad, Edwin. And we're at a loss. We got to figure out where we're going to grow this garden. And here's the hoop house. So Dad, why don't we show them quickly what's in here and what we would do if we were setting up the beds in here. Okay, so starting off here on the left-hand side here, we have some cover crops. We have some strawberries with garlic growing in between them. And then as we come over to the right, we have a bunch of brassicas and some other crops down a little bit further down. But literally, we would just be taking 4 of these beds and roping off a section and using it as the garden plan, right, Dad?
Yeah.
So what do you think would be some of the pros and cons of the hoop house here?
Well, I think the most obvious pro is that it's a garden spot we've been using for some time, and so the beds are well prepared and ready to go. Also, we've got water here. You know, the setup's all here, and so it would be a lot easier for us. That's the main pro.
We're gonna make this really hard on you to decide. We could probably, I mean, there's a good chance that we might be able to grow more food here just because it's been grown in so much more, like it's more developed, and
I'm sure that's
we've got like this structure that we can trellis off of and all of that. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of, in a way, it's a little bit nicer.
It isn't a hoop house, but the plastic is not going to need to be replaced this year. So for a good part of the season, it's going to be exposed to, like, it'll be outdoors basically.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and go over to your place, Dad, and we'll take a look at that, and then we'll have you guys decide where we're going to do this. Okay. So here we are over at Dad. This is your place over here.
Yes.
And we've got this outdoor space.
Yeah, so we also just moved, so we're all in flux, but we did not set up a garden at our house here. We're just less than 5 minutes walk from the hoop house, but we just were growing in the hoop house. But I would like to have a kitchen garden just right outside our door. And so that's the idea we have here.
So whether we do this now or not, this is probably going to turn into a garden space here.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and this would just give us extra incentive to get it going. What we'd like to do is have a garden spot right here in front of this container. And the container is 40 feet long, and for this sample garden, we're wanting 4 20-foot long beds, so it would be one end or the other of this spot. And while we're at it, we might just dig up the whole spot and have only the one half of it in our sample garden, but we'll see what happens. But we would have to put in water here. I would want to do that anyways, but we'd have to put in the water, dig up the ground, and be starting from scratch basically.
Okay, so starting from scratch, that might be the con for doing it here, but what are some of the pros for doing it here?
Well, it's close to my house.
Okay. It's not close to mine, though.
I mean, other pros...
Neither of them are close to mine.
Yeah. Other pros would be that it would, for those that want to see a garden start from scratch, that's... you know, it would be an opportunity to show that. Yeah,
so I think that's one of the biggest things is that if you want to see us start from ground zero, breaking ground, and if you want it to be like an outdoor garden, because not everybody has a hoop house, so you may not be able to relate to that scenario, then this would be the one to do it outside here. So it's a toss-up for us. You guys are the ones that get to decide. So put it down in the comments below. Comment outside or inside if you want us to grow the garden outside here or if you want us to grow the garden inside, and we are literally going to let you all make the decision of where we do this. So whoever votes the most, that's what we're going to do.
Just another comparison, I'm quite sure that we will not be able to get as much out of this garden as we would that one.
Yeah.
Because that, as I said already, that one has well-developed beds. These ones, you know, we're obviously starting from scratch. But secondly, it's going to take us a while to just get the garden ready for something to go in, whereas that one's all set, ready to go.
Either way, though, we're going to do everything we can to grow the most amount of food possible, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So drop those comments down below, and we can't wait to see what you all decide, and then we're going to get to it. So while you all are deciding where we're going to grow this garden, I've got some more work to do to get this garden prepped ahead of time. So let's go check that out. Okay, so one of the biggest things that is going to make this garden a success is having a continuous supply of new plant starts that can be going in when other crops are coming out. And so one of the things that I needed to do was set up a plant stand. And so that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I actually just bought a plant stand off of Amazon. It's got the full racks. It's got lights that come with it. I'll drop the link below to the one that I purchased, and I haven't used it yet, so we'll see how it goes. And I can't wait to get this set up and start knocking out some of my own plant starts. Okay, so I am already really impressed just with the quality of this plant stand. I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest, because we had one similar to this, and one of the first things that has stood out to me is the quality of these posts and the connectors. This is all solid metal. We had a stand like this earlier that these supports and stuff were plastic, and it was kind of flimsy at the end of the day. These are nice, solid metal trays. You can hear it, right? You can hear the metal right there. It has these large rolling casters to roll around on. So anyways, we obviously have just started putting this together, so we still have a little ways to go to finish it out, but just wanted to drop a little note there. I'm pretty impressed. It's pretty nice. Okay, we just finished putting together the main part of this stand here, as you can see, top to bottom. And like I said earlier, very impressed with just the metal strength, durability. Like, I would definitely 100% just give this section for sure a 5-star review. It's very sturdy, and the metal just feels really nice instead of having just bunches of plastic. Okay, so next step is getting the lights on here. Okay, take a look at this beauty. Yes, I like this stand very much. So we got the lights on here, and I'll give you a view of what that looks like here in a second when we turn them on. This is still, you know, just put together, so these cords, I may actually take and add a little finesse by attaching them to the edge here. This stand comes with some extra Velcro and some zip ties that we could use to do that. But also, quick little tip, for any of you that are doing this, the package says to do your chains like this. And these chains are really nice. They have really nice hooks, and you can adjust the height of your light by putting them up and down on the hooks. And I am going to change the way that I do these because I do not like the way that they set it up here. For one, it makes the actual tray part, like where you put your trays, very uneven because of the chains going over it. So my first fix here was to attach the chain more directly to the tray up at the top here. And just, so took this second clip and clipped it directly on there like you can see there, and brought it down to the hook down here. I may actually change that because I think it would be nice to actually just have the chain hanging down and have this hook be able to just hook up and down on the chain. That would be so much faster. So that's what I'll probably do. I've been experimenting with all different ones here. You can see these ones are like going sideways at an angle down over here. So all kinds of stuff, experimentation going on here. But we're gonna get it set up really nice. Here's what it looks like turned on, and there's a couple things that I like about this. Number one, the lights are really bright. I just adjusted the camera so you can actually see. This is more like the brightness level of the lights themselves. They are very bright. It's very nice, and I think they will grow plants well. And maybe just a personal thing, but I personally like the warm white versus like those pinkish red ones that, you know, there's supposed to be benefits to those color spectrums or whatever, but personally I like the warm white, and so I'm kind of stoked about that as well. But next up is we got to get our trays, got to get our potting mix, and get some starts going. Now, before I start seeding, I need a plan, right? Because I need to know how many of these should I seed? How much can I fit in this space and all of that kind of stuff. And so I have started just preliminarily going and dropping all of these crops into my Seedtime account to get an idea of when to seed, when to transplant, which crops am I late on, which ones can I seed right now. Next week, I'm gonna be going through this in a lot more detail, walking through the entire season and setting up a succession plan through the entire season. In fact, we'll go through our 3-step garden planning formula so I can get a picture of the entire season and set up my plan that I can just follow through the whole season. So if you want to catch that and walk with us through the whole season, here's a little plug. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that little bell icon so you get notified when the new videos come out. And by the way, for every 100 new subscribers that we get during this series, we're going to give $1 to that Farm Stew Fund. So that's a great way that you can kind of give towards that at the same time. So go subscribe below. And for right now, let's jump on the computer. I'll show you just a little sneak peek of what's coming and what I've done right now, just to get a quick idea of what I should be starting and what should be going in the garden pretty soon right now. So here you can see we are basically following what we call our plug and play garden plan here. And we call that because you could literally do this and grow this plan yourself if you wanted to. But in the top left-hand side here, you'll see there's 4 beds. These are our 4 beds that fit in this 15 by 20 foot space, and they're divided into 4 different sections for a crop rotation plan. Again, we can get into that a little bit more detail in a further video. However, you'll see that these are divided up into leaves and flowers, fruits and grains, roots and legumes, and it's kind of by crop families. And so what I needed to do was come in and drop all of these into my Seedtime account here. So I've added them all in. I've got basil, beets, broccoli, cabbage, carrots, etc. And Seedtime is automatically going to recommend a time to seed these and transplant and harvest them for your location. And then you can come in and add succession plantings. Like for example, with the lettuce here, I'll just filter down to that. You know, I could have seeded some lettuce a couple weeks ago, but I didn't. But I can add a succession planting here, and that drops in for about this week. And I could potentially purchase a lettuce transplant to put in the garden at this time. So what I've done is I've come in and sorted them by the seeding date, so I can see which ones were late on, which transplanting times are coming up soon that I could potentially purchase some transplants, which I think I probably am gonna fudge that and get some transplants for these. Like you can see, parsley here really needs to be transplanted right now. And then what I did was I came over to the layout in Seedtime and made a bed for some of these earlier crops that are going to be going in and started laying them out here so I can get an idea of about how many to seed for, or that I would need to purchase transplants for coming up. So like I said, next week I'll be going through this in a lot more detail and walking through the entire season, but for right now, we got some seeds that we can get started. So let's jump on over and get some seeds going. Okay, so I have my light stand ready, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is to get my trays ready. We're gonna do this with soil blocks. So I'm gonna make some soil blocks in here, and then we're gonna seed those. I have a special little tray system that I like to use here, and that is, I have a bottom tray that has no holes in it. It's gonna be a bottom water reservoir. And then I have a top shallower tray. It's not quite as deep as the bottom tray. It's gonna sit inside. And in this top tray, I'll put links, by the way, in the description to all of these things. But in this top tray, I got this wicking cord. It's super cheap off Amazon. And I'm just going to thread it through the slots in the top tray here. And it's going to hang down into the water reservoir underneath like this. And then I won't have to water my plants. This is the cheat way of doing this. So you'll see that these hang down underneath like that, and that water is just going to wick up and it will automatically water my starts as they're growing. And then all I need to do is every several days or once a week or so come and check that bottom reservoir, make sure it has water in it. So I'm going to thread these through, and then we're going to get started with making some soil blocks. So I got the tray finished here, and you can see those little wicking cords hanging down. That's going to be the bottom water reservoir. Now let's make some soil blocks. So I bought this soil blocker off of the Seedtime store from Mindful Farmer. Super high quality soil blocker that we're going to make these blocks with. It comes with different dimple sizes that you can get for the little hole that the seeds are going to go in. And then also, they also sell this living potting mix, and I'm going to be starting my starts with this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. When you look for a potting mix, you want one that is really nice and fluffy. So this one has like a peat moss base, I believe. It's got some nutrients in it already, and this is going to be great for starting our start. So we're going to head outside where we can moisten this down a little bit and get these blocks formed. So I just took some of this potting mix, put it in a bucket here, and added some water, which is one of the cool things about this potting mix is literally just to add water. And you want it about the consistency of a wrung out sponge, where you can squeeze it and you'll get a few drips of water, but not a whole lot. It's going to be crumbly, and another couple cool things about this potting mix is that it has worm castings in it, which is going to be great for these starts, and it already has mycorrhizal fungi inoculated into the potting mix itself, which is going to be fantastic as well. So next up, I'm going to take this soil blocker, and I'll show you how to make these soil blocks. Okay, so to make these soil blocks, we're going to take the soil blocker, grab it like this here. So you're pulling, because this is going to push the blocks out when you push this in like this, but you don't want the blocks pushing out right now. So you're going to grab it, grab that part that gets pushed down, and you're just going to push it down into the mix. And you just want to pack that mix in pretty much as hard as you can. Because it has a peat moss base and those worm castings, and it's got some perlite in there as well, you pretty much cannot overpack it. Then you're going to take it and scrape it off on the edge of the bucket there. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into my, here we go, just extract it into the tray here. And look, beautiful. There's the little dimples where we're going to plant those seeds. So I'm going to keep doing that and fill up my tray. Okay, I'm not going to be able to fit another row in here, so I don't really need this last wicking cord. With a smaller soil blocker, I'd probably be able to fill the entire thing up, but the larger soil blocks let you be able to grow the plant longer in them, so that's another plus on that side. So this is ready. We're going to seed it, put some water in the bottom, and away we go. And now we are ready to seed, and I was actually able to fit one more row of soil blocks in here, packed it into the same tray, which is kind of cool. One quick tip is whenever you finish with the soil blocker, make sure to wash it out so it doesn't rust, and that'll help preserve it for a longer time. And we're gonna start out by seeding lettuce. So I've got several lettuce packs here. These are some older seeds, so I'm going to plant a few seeds in each dimple here. So probably like 1, 2, 3, and I'm just gonna do a couple of each kind of lettuce here. So if they all come up, I can always thin some out. So it's always better to plant a little bit extra than too little. If it's brand new seeds that have really high germination rate, then oftentimes we'll just seed one per block. But again, these being a little bit older, gonna seed a few. We're gonna moisten them down, and then with most seeds, we're gonna cover them up. But with lettuce, we actually leave them uncovered and open as they germinate and sprout. So I'm gonna moisten these down, then we'll go back over to the light stand. So just brought them over to the lights here, and our little lettuces are down inside those holes, and I have put water down below in the reservoir. You can kind of see it down under there. So that's just gonna wick up and keep these moist. And I set up the lights in a much better system, as I was telling you before. So now I moved this hook so that it is directly attached to the light, and then the chain is just hanging down with the other hook up at the top there. And so now I can literally just unhook and move my light up and down super, super easily. And the next step is I'm gonna take one of these humidity domes and cover up them as they sprout. That's gonna keep the humidity up inside there and just keep it nice as they sprout. They don't technically need a ton of light, so I might not run the lights all of this time, but we'll wait for them to sprout and look forward to seeing them coming up. And our Great Garden Challenge is off to an awesome start. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to walk you through the entire season over this next week and to really set up this whole plan that's gonna set the foundation for everything we do going forward from here, because it's gonna set us up with a weekly task list. We can just easily go knock the tasks off as we go along through the entire season. It's gonna be so much fun, and I'm sure there'll be adjustments and surprises along the way as well. So once again, quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell icon to get notified, and above all, drop down below and leave a comment and let us know whether you want to put the garden inside the hoop house or outside. And we're gonna be taking those comments and deciding where we're gonna actually get this garden growing. Oh, I almost forgot. Remember I was saying earlier that there's gonna be a bunch of different opportunities to win giveaways, right? And so anyone who leaves a comment down below this video, next week we're gonna do a random draw from all of the comments down below, and someone will win one of these bags of the living potting mix. So the same mix that I've just been using to start my starts, you could win one just by dropping a comment down below, so an extra incentive to do that. Also, don't forget, put in your guess of how much you think we will be able to grow and enter to win the Great Garden giveaway. So thanks again. Look forward to catching you next time.